Boom, here we go. Hey guys, hope you are all doing well. You are with Noor here, and welcome back to another interview. If you're not familiar with who I am, I run the operations side of EasyGrow, and today I'm joined by another one of our amazing clients. Today I'm joined by Moritz, who's achieved some really significant success in a very unique position compared to what we are used to seeing in EasyGrow. So I'm really excited to dive into his story. And yeah, this will be a good one. So Moritz, obviously, we spoke just before this and caught up. But for the people watching this, can you introduce, who you are, what you do, and ultimately give them a bit of background of everything?
Yeah, sure thing. So, hi guys and girls. My name is Moritz. I'm 25 years old and I used EasyGrow and everything around to establish outbound systems in companies. And before I started with sales, basically I didn't know a lot. And then I had the pleasure of working with a mentor of mine to develop that skill that sales is about people. Because you're not selling to a robot, you're not selling to a company, you're selling to the person behind. And with that, basically my whole journey started. And then I became part of EasyGrow around, I think, 7 months ago. And here in sales, you just need a little bit of skill. So it's not just talking to people. And I talked with Noor about that in the briefing before. So you also need to have some skill. You need to have some systems in place to already being able to also sell your stuff. And EasyGrow helped me implement that different kinds of systems inside companies and building up incredible sales there.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And to give a bit of context, Moritz, obviously with the company that you're at right now, if you can just walk them through, where they were at before you joined in terms of how their sales process looked compared to how it looks now after you plugged in the relevant systems, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So a sales system, I can also say that in general, because in most companies, it is like that. When you have a company at a certain size, there is no system in place. Everything goes with the word of mouth or with fair trade shows, like those big events where lots of people are together doing handshakes and all that things, but it's not scalable at all. So what I did there is putting in proper outbound systems. So that can be in many ways. That can be via cold email, via cold DMs, everything around that in a multi-channel way. And what we did here is establish that from A to Z. And in the beginning, it was quite hard because no one really believed that outbound can work. Because, I mean, we all got those messages from someone who wants to sell SEO services or crappy websites for 200 bucks. But there wasn't a clear perception of how to use outbound. And with that personal approach in, let's take it, for example, cold emailing, we were able to get a significant amount of new high ticket and especially happy paying customers.
Amazing. And to paint the picture in the viewer's mind, Moritz, if you can let them know, what sector the company is in and what you got, who you guys actually help and what you sell, that'd be great.
Yeah, 100%. So I would say it's a little bit different to your usual clients. We're right now in the green tech space. So basically heavy duty hardware and software for green tech. And I think that's especially interesting because lots of people, lots of you guys most likely are selling to agencies and all that things. But for me, it's very interesting to take what I learn in a course like you provided and use it, tweak it around, and implement it in a certain industry. And I think there is where the magic happens, that you're not a copy and paste robot, but that you can take stuff, adjust it, and make it better for that niche. Because everyone can copy and paste, but you really get a unique benefit in the market, a USP, when you are able to adjust what you know.
Yeah, perfectly put. And we're going to expand on that because I'm sure you've seen Moritz. I certainly have, like you said a few minutes ago, where we've all seen those emails that are copy and paste SEO website. I've been guilty of sending them myself when I started my business years ago when I was still in business, right? That was, yeah, it was a bad way of doing things. So getting specific with your market and whatnot, it really makes a massive difference. So we're going to expand on that. And just to let the viewers know, Moritz, how much like additional revenue did you add to the business from integrating these like outbound systems, and essentially how long, did it take?
So it was a seven-figure digit. Wait again. It was a seven digit revenue add in basically, I would say around about 6, 7 months. Because in the beginning, we first started inside the whole outbound system. And it was quite hard because the niche was very specific.
Yeah.
And we really needed to target like a couple of people, not thousands of people. It was more like hundreds of people to start with. And therefore, you really need to customize every single step in the process, because if you don't customize it and if you don't understand the problem of the target group you're reaching out to, especially in a niche where it's very limited with the people inside, then you burn those leads very
Yeah.
fast. And also, when they don't trust you in that initial message, you're basically out of business in that area. So we really needed to make sure to get the most out of it, to get as much information about each and every single prospect as possible, and then use that.
Yeah, love it. And I love how you stumbled across your words when you said 7 digit. It's like you're still processing. Oh wow, we made 7 figures from plugging in the systems, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And I truly believe after that 6 months with you that it is really possible to do that. And it is only possible if you adjust it. If you copy and paste it, you will end up somewhere where everyone is. But if you're
100%.
really being able to adjust it, to bring it in, yeah, to bring it to life, basically, then you're able to get to those results. That's my true belief here.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you said, 7 figures. I think we spoke about this just before, like off camera as well. That's like 1 to 2 million in total sales around that mark
Yeah.
from the outbound systems. And it just shows you it can work for multiple industries, including yours. And I want to expand on that, Moritz, with, um, how did you go about navigating the program from day one? So you knew you wanted to set up an outbound system. What systems did you opt in for? And what has worked for the company?
Yeah, so I think I learned around about 5 systems with you.
Wow.
But what we implemented was basically just two.
Yep.
Very, very simple. It
That's
was called email, cold DMs, and that in a mixture together. So basically, we also adjusted that in the way that you, for example, got a cold email, and then we got the cold DM system connecting to each other and having a real value behind it, because I truly believe everyone has a favorite channel of communication. And mine, for example, is LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yours is maybe email.
Yeah.
So if I reach you on LinkedIn, you're more likely to not respond. But if I reach you via email,
Yeah.
then you're more likely to respond. And we need to figure out the sweet spot in here. And I think that worked perfectly. And we got a clear draw, basically 50% answered more via email, 50% more via LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So that's why both systems work so perfectly together.
There we go. And Moritz, what sort of struck your mind to adapt it to your situation? Because like we spoke about, your industry isn't typical for the company you work at, the guys you're, targeting, right? Usually in the program, from what you've seen as well, people are operating in big markets. There's lots of customers. You can get away with like generic messages with some basic personalization. What made you, go ahead and like talk to me about the process of personalizing things specific for your market? Because there's not that many people in your market. Like you said, your ICP is very, very unique. Like, how did you go about making sure you're making the most out of every lead?
So basically, also one thing in advance here, I would say a market like the market I'm in is pretty easy to target because not so many people are doing outbound. And now I hope that not everyone is jumping on that train here, but also if you do, feel free to do, there's still enough space. So people are not used to good cold email or good cold DMs. So basically, it's easier to get an appointment, but that is not our ambition. Our ambition is to be the best possible in the market, that you get a message from us and you're like, wow, I love it. I want to talk with that guys, that you are excited. Because when we get that excited, when we can build up on a story together, you're more likely to then in the end purchase. And for me, as I said in the beginning, it's about creating value-based relationships with each other. Because then even though there is a market downturn, the budget is tight or whatever, when you have a real connection with a human being, that doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
If you're just in the market spreading your word with generic messages and don't building relationships, then you are the first person, you're the first company which gets cut out when there's a downturn in economy. What we see right now. And that enabled us to go through that dip basically and come out stronger.
Yeah, there you go. It's like again, we just spoke about this before we start recording. I
Yeah.
think people are so obsessed with like numbers, money, revenue, and whatever it is, and obviously that holds some importance, but you need to put the relationship with each of your customers above all. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
stuff you desire, it's going to disappear quick, and ultimately your reputation is going to be tarnished. And it's funny you say that because like we've got like team principles, Moritz is like number one is being product centric, and number two is client worship. So it's basically clients number one, everything else number two, three, four, whatever.
Yeah.
And like you said there, like in your situation, you're making the most out of your lead by not sounding like everyone else, by not putting a pitch in their face, but actually adapting the outbound strategies to provide some level of value and lower their guard to get what you want.
100%. And I can have a tip around that, how we do that. So, for example, you have an ICP. Let's take head of logistics, like very specific. Then you visit 10 to 15 profiles on LinkedIn inside your target group. Like that's what we did. And then you look for similarities. So, for example, out of that 15, 30% are in favor of sustainability. So that's very important for them. But 95% of those 15 are into efficiency. So then you have your winner, and then you can target your DMs, your cold messages. You can go through that thought of efficiency, and then you can connect with them on a different base. And for example, if you then would on the other hand side target them with the sustainability aspect, only 30% would be like, yeah, that's it, that's cool. And the rest would fall out. So look for similarities, and then you can basically adjust to every different niche.
Yeah, love it. And one thing I want to touch on there um, is how important has data collection been for you, Moritz? Because I know you're talking in percentages here, and I can tell you've gone into specifics, which is amazing. You've been through the program, you know how heavy we are on metrics, right?
Yeah.
How important has it been for you as well when you're looking at these individual campaigns and systems to just determine, what works good, what doesn't work good, et cetera, et cetera?
So that has been one of the biggest changes actually since I started. So in the beginning, I'm a person, I love my gut feeling.
Yeah,
I love to decide because my gut says, yeah, you should do or you should not do that.
yeah,
And after coming around the systems, I noticed a gut feeling doesn't bring you anywhere because uh, it can just be a gut feeling. It's not data driven, especially when you have something very specific. You send 1,000 emails, you get a specific reply, you get a specific meeting booking rate, etc. pp. So it has nothing to do with gut feelings. So now all decisions we take are based on data, are based on percentages, are based on our KPIs, on our North Star. And only when a campaign. So let's take an example for a cold email campaign. And we have our North Star, and everything which is above that North Star is perfect. So we run that main campaign and just feed it with more leads, put in more leads, and that is something we do until the campaign flattens out. The stimulus gets overused basically, and in the meantime, we try 5 to 6 different campaigns to test new stimuli. And when a main campaign is flattening out, we can take one of the demo test campaigns, which works good, and insert the new stimulus in the main campaign.
Yeah.
So it's all about data. Gut feeling is good for many other things in business, but not for outbound.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, that's what most clients are like. This is exactly what you described, Moritz, where it's like they just go on gut feeling. They're like, yep, this copy looks good. Let me just send 100 of these. Of maybe three, four people reply. It's just maybes. It's just they think
Yeah,
this amount of people replied. They think it's that. And another thing, Moritz, is even like across sales, show up rate, appointment booking rate, any metric that you can think of, you can't rely on assumptions, right? You
yeah,
need data. Otherwise, it's just
100%.
you're playing the guessing game.
Yeah, and we don't want that. We're not in the guessing game.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, good stuff, man. And I think you've been in the program, I think it's been 6 months or so now. What would you say you love about the program, Rich? So you've obviously been through the course, you've got the group community, the coaching calls. What do you specifically love about, your experience with the program?
I think the extensive research done in the modules. So that is my number one thing, that the modules that you consume something and you right away know, okay, here is value for me. So that was very well researched. That was very well presented in a way. And that was my number one thing. The number two thing was the community, because everyone is in the same boat. Everyone has similar struggles and everyone wants and needs to overcome it. And I think that was a very good thing. And everyone was committed, because I've been in free communities and all that things. But if you spend a boatload of money on a program, then you are committed. And everyone in that group had that same um like was committed. And I think that was what made the major difference, that there was also an engagement in the group, and like not empty like many other groups.
Yeah, that's it. It's like I've been guilty of like having free communities and also very low ticket ones. And like you said, Moritz, you're just not emotionally invested into it, right? You need that motivation to
Yeah,
show up and really engage in the community, ask questions, ask for help. But also, as you've done, go through the videos, take action, constantly improve, etc., etc.
and I think also one more thing, because everyone spent money on that group, that we could all expect you guys from EasyGrow to be there, to answer, to be like sparring partner. And you've actually been there. And that was also a very good thing to know. Whenever there is something, I can just reach out and
Yeah.
I get an answer ASAP, basically.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm always surprised whenever I do like a client interview, because I've started to do these recently, right? I've had the pleasure of doing them. Whenever a client like yourself says, man, it's so good having you guys there. Because to me, that should be the bare minimum. But with some other programs, it's just you get the course, you do the videos, and that's it. There's no additional help beyond that. And I think you've just said there, Moritz, it's just nice to be able to ask questions specifically for your situation, to get tailored help, whether it's in the group or on a coaching call, rather than just relying the videos on your own, right?
100%, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Moritz, one thing I want to circle back to, which is quite interesting. So you're at this company, and I think you briefly touched on it, but it'd be good to, just bring it up again. Before the outbound systems, right, that you sort of introduced and you modernized the way your company's doing business, What were they doing again to generate business before you plugged this in? I think you said it's word of mouth, trade shows. How was their process like before you sort of systemized everything?
So basically, with 95, 99% of the businesses, it's not systemized. So
Yep.
it's just when business is good, when the economy is very good, you have lots of word of mouth, you go to
Absolutely.
trade shows, you do sales on a trade show, everything around, but you don't have a predictable revenue income. So that's a difficulty many companies are now facing. Look at how many startups, even with millions in funding, don't make it right now because the economy is not that good right now. And
Yeah.
that is because they don't have proper systems in place. And I think that's a huge benefit for everyone who wants to get a predictable revenue growth. And I don't understand why so many companies don't have it, because when you're funded by investors, they want numbers, but like you need to have proper numbers. And I don't know how companies are giving out those numbers when they don't have a predictable revenue growth. So I'm a big fan of systemizing those things to really know what you get.
Yeah, that's it. And is it is it's so true what you say because yeah, when the economy is good and you're getting word of mouth and referrals and whatever, it
Yeah.
feels good, but it's never gonna last that forever naturally. And that's where you need that sense of predictability, which you now have, right? Because you plugged these systems in for the company, which is great. And another thing I want to touch on, because we spoke about this before, you mentioned how you had to persuade like other members of your team to,
Yeah.
to really welcome this new way of doing business. So how did you approach that?
So I'm a person, I love to try different things. And sometimes people are thinking, okay, what is that guy doing? For example, let me tell you a little story. In the first couple of weeks when I started in sales, also a mentor of mine told me, okay, you need to get really down to business. So write a handwritten note, select 10 leads inside your, like, in an area of 50 kilometers, go to the car, drive to a bakery, buy a coffee, buy in Germany we have pretzels, like little grocery things, and go there. And then I just went to those companies and was like, hey, I'm here for Mr. Meyer. And then they were like, who are you? And then I said, yeah, I was just here nearby and I thought I quickly wanted to have a chat with him. And like that went so far that in some companies I got like thrown out because they were like, what the fuck is that person doing here? And I think you really need to try different things out. And the same was with outbound, because when when I started outbound for the company, then many people were like, but we have trade shows, but we have word of mouth. So what we do is we can do everything, but we need to prove that it's working, like in terms of profitability, in terms of predictable revenue growth and all that things. And after the first campaign went completely through the roof, and back then it was a pretty crappy campaign to be honest, but it worked. So now when you can work on top of that, it's like Lego. You build a stone on top of each other, and then you have a high building at a top where you can have a good overlook and where you have a system in place where it's working. And that made the difference. So now everyone is like, yeah, cold email is cool.
Yeah, amazing. You've pioneered it. And yeah, that's incredible because it's like it's just that sense of predictability which gives you a feel of, power, control, and autonomy,
Yeah.
knowing you've got like a client acquisition machine that you can turn on and off anytime you want, rather than having to rely on trade shows, hoping a client refers you, etc., etc. Which of course will always be there, but now you've got the main predictable stream here in case for whatever reason the economy takes a downturn and that's on pause, like the referrals and stuff. So yeah, that's great stuff, Moritz. And yeah, that's really interesting because in a way you had to break the people that you work with limiting beliefs that they may have had,
Yeah.
which you've done so by bringing proof. And on that topic, Moritz, before you joined our program, did you have any limiting beliefs as to whether this would work for your sector, or were you very like, open-minded and you knew it would work? Like, talk to me about the mindset side of things.
Yeah, so from the mindset side of things, I learned some new things, some new thoughts in the program, especially how stimuli work in an environment, in a controlled environment, but also in a non-controllable environment. And before I got very deep inside that mindset topics, so I knew that everything is possible, but I didn't know how to bridge the gap basically. And that's what I learned with you guys. So to come from point A, where you really want to do something, where you really want to go from somewhere, to point B, your desired goal. And there's a bridge, there's a gap in between. And by myself, I just went baby steps to that goal. And now I managed to get, again, systems to go there faster. And that's why I decided to purchase the program. Because I believe you can do everything by yourself, but why not paying someone to learn those things in a faster way? So I don't need to make all of the mistakes you guys made. So that was my biggest thing to decide to purchase EasyGrow.
Yeah, there we go. Perfectly put. How does your team currently look, Moritz? Specifically, like in terms of this whole new sector you've added into the company with the outbound side of things. Do you manage it all yourself, or do you
Yeah.
have like a mini team under you?
So I manage all the outbound at the moment for the company by myself because it's just fun. And to be honest, it doesn't take so much time. So
Love
it's a
it.
couple of hours a month when it's like you need to make it running. That takes a little bit of time, but when it's running, it's an engine. You just need to put in more gasoline.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
then it's there. In gasoline, I mean, you just need to put in more
Yep.
leads. You need to adjust it a little bit and see how the KPIs develop and adjust the campaign based to that.
Yeah, there we go. Now, as we sort of close up the interview, Moritz, there's usually two groups of people that watch this. The first of which is current students, the second of which are people that have yet to join the program. So, for the first of which, for the current students, right? From your experience, from your time with us in the program, what pieces of advice would you give them to best succeed? Like from what you've gone through in the program, what would you tell them?
Just do it. Like just start right in the beginning. I imagine in the beginning, I saw lots of questions from current students about how to set up that or how to set up that and how to do that. Just do it. Like you will make mistakes. That's the only thing for sure. And such a program cannot like let you avoid some mistakes. You will always make the mistakes and be aware of that and accept it. And don't be like super stressed when your domains get blocked or something. Like that can
Yeah,
always happen.
that happens.
And when something in that case bad or terrible is happening, you're learning the most. And that's what I experienced in the one situation. My all my domains got blocked, and I was like, crap. What should I do? Everything is blocked now. But then I found ways to overcome that. And now whenever a domain gets blocked, which now barely happens, I now know exactly what to do, what not to do, and how to overcome it. So just do it, because if you don't do it, like just watching videos will not bring you any closer to your goal.
Yeah, that's it. It's like you consume all that content to make yourself feel productive, but you're
Yes.
not taking action because you fear failure. And I'm sure you've seen it, Moritz. You just said there, right? All your domains came crashing down. That happens. You have to fail forward. You make mistakes sometimes are outside of your control, and it's
Yeah.
just character building. Because, like you said, now you're in a position where the mistakes have helped you know what to do, and you're in full control. So yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic stuff. And what would you say, Moritz, to people that have yet to be a client? Maybe they're on the fence, maybe they want to think about it. What would you say to them, as well as people that are probably in your situation, Moritz, where they work in a very unique environment, a unique market and whatnot, and they may have doubts as to whether this would work for you or work for them, sorry.
So I would say, like, I'm a fan of investing in myself because,
Yep.
especially in the beginning of everyone's career, like, I would say, even everything below like 40 years or like old, uh, just invest in yourself. Like,
Hmm.
You can do so much more leverage in this world when you learn different things and actual useful things. So I think in school, like, yeah, you get a good common knowledge, but you're not in a specific environment. And the more you learn in a specific environment, the better you can do for this world. Because I truly believe that we as a human being, we have more to this world than just earning money and building sales and all that things. But we can enable
Yeah.
people to get from A to B. We can solve their problems with the help of sales. So that's what the program taught me. And then you will get lots of systems which might work in your market, but which might also need adjustments in your market. So I think the program you provided was extremely valuable in terms of getting things going, and you will always need to adjust things.
Yeah.
And then you will get a very good program with a great community around it, and also a wonderful stuff to help you adjust it to your specific niche. So no matter if you're in the agency space, if you're in the green tech space, software space, whatever, you will get it done with that.
Yeah.
But it takes
Uh,
work. It takes work. Like, don't underestimate it. But that is for sure. Everyone who joins something like that, who spends money and doesn't think he needs to work,
yeah.
yeah,
You know, that's perfectly put, Moritz. And it's funny you say that because literally at the end of my client interviews, it's a running theme now. I always say, if you're someone that's watching this and you want a magic pill to success that requires no work, we're not the program for you. Okay. We
yeah,
can provide you with proven frameworks, with the material, the support, and Moritz can vouch for this, and he'll even agree with me here. But if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to make mistakes, if you just want an easy path where you pay and that's it, you instant success in a week, this isn't for you. But if you're someone that's willing to work, make mistakes, fail forward, and ultimately, put in the hours like Moritz has, then there's no reason why it can't work for you. So fantastically put. For the people watching, Moritz, where can they find you and just keep up with you and your journey?
yeah. On the one hand side, on LinkedIn, over my LinkedIn account, I'm not quite sure. Can we put it in
Yeah, we'll
somewhere?
put in the description. Yeah, yeah. Of
Perfect. And on the other hand side, my YouTube channel, where I talk about what
course.
I learned, how I see sales, and how to get things done. So, how you can take what you know, adjust it, and build an outbound machine from base in your industry. So, feel
Yeah.
free to check it out. And I'm very happy to see you there, guys.
That's it. So be sure to connect with Moritz on LinkedIn and follow and subscribe to his YouTube channel. That's going to be in the description below. And yeah, other than that, I hope you guys found this interview valuable. Personally, it's one of my favorites, and I'm not just saying that because Moritz is here. It's one of my favorites because Moritz is in a very unique position where typically, as you guys have probably seen with interviews, I typically interview agency owners, right? Whereas Moritz, he's implemented the systems with a company he already works at, and they sell green tech, and it's
Yeah,
such a unique industry compared to what we're used to seeing. But it just shows you the frameworks that we provide, as long as you have a product and an offer and a viable market, it can work in any sector. And Moritz is proof of that, and he's in a very unique sector. So if you have doubts as to whether this will work for you, there's no doubts to have, as it can work if you've got a proven offer and a market in place. We can definitely help tailor the systems to your needs. So yeah, just to reiterate, guys, if you've yet to join the program, be sure to do your due diligence. Check out, Charlie's YouTube channel for the content he has over there, and of course, check out all of these other interviews that we host on this website and on this channel, and take a look at other people's stories as well. And again, once more, if you're willing to put in the work and the hard yards and you want a proven framework to follow, be sure to book a call and join us. If you want a magic pill with no work whatsoever, we're not for you. And if you do find the magic pill, pop us an email or leave a comment down below because I'd love to find that. So yeah, jokes aside, I hope you guys found this one valuable and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.
cheers.